So, like I was saying, for those who couldn't hear me, here at In Touch Financial Group, our main focus is relationship building. We like to be specialized in certain areas. We're not a general insurance company. We like for our agents to have the ability to be a specialist in certain policies. We feel like quality is a lot better than quantity. We want to make sure that your closing rates are a lot higher, because what's the point of being in front of 100 people and closing one policy than being in front of 20 and doing 4? So today, I'm going to be discussing a little bit about identifying a marketplace, a specific marketplace, one that you feel more comfortable with, because remember, this is your job. You decided to be a life insurance agent for a specific reason. Maybe it's to have that work-life balance, or for me, it was to help others. So if we're going to get right to it. So the first thing, we're going to be discussing 2 things. We're going to identify a specific market for you, what you're comfortable with. Who do you want to work with on a regular basis? You know, I personally have a lot in common with people my age group, and believe it or not, people way older than me. In between there, I'm kind of like, you know, because of my age, I'm pretty young. Somebody might look at me like, what does this girl have in common with me? Nothing. So we're also going to identify a motivating factor in that specific group. A good focus for us is going to be, can we have these conversations with this age group, with this specific group, or are we going to crash and burn? We've noticed that the more narrow your group of people is, the better chance is for you to have a better closing rate. You know, some of us are good at talking to everybody. You know, there's people that can sell ice to an Eskimo, and kudos to you. But me personally, I have to connect with you. If I have no connection, then the person is just going to say, you know what, this person's just trying to sell me something. They don't really care about what's going to happen to me in the future. They just want money. And that's the thing we don't want. We want to make sure that your client feels like they can trust you and that you're looking out for them. If they feel like you're just selling another salesperson, your closing rates are going to be so low. So as we jump into I've narrowed down to 4 specific market groups, and I'm going to show you guys what each market group has and what do they require. So as I go on with this webinar, start thinking about what group best fits you. Where would you feel more comfortable? Who do you want to work with? Because remember, you have to stay in contact with these people. You gotta keep in touch. So we go on to the next one. I'm going to tell you the 4 marketplaces that we are going to specify is you're going to have 4 categories within each 4 marketplace. You're going to have demographics, which is age. We're going to break it down into, you know, 4 different group ages where each one has a specific need, a specific requirement. Let's look at them like fishes. What bait do you use for a small fish? What bait do you use for a big fish? You have to have the right bait in order to catch it. So in here, you will also look for gender. I'm more comfortable speaking with girls, you know, or some people are fine with both, and they just like, you know, the decision maker. They like the household leader, you know, who makes the decisions. But then there's other people who are just more comfortable with that, with guys. So pick and choose who you can connect with. And then also we're gonna, in that specific group, you're gonna look at people's occupation, not income, but occupation. I personally have been working in customer service for years. So a person that works in customer service, I can relate to them. There's agents that you know what, I love working with doctors, lawyers, because you have that communication and you can relate to them more. So start thinking about what occupations you guys can relate to the most. And then also their family marriage status. Do you work better with single people? Do you work better with small families, single moms, single dads? You know, start narrowing down to where you can feel the most comfortable and where you can become an expert in. So we're going to get started with the starting out market. So starting out market, you're looking about ages between 18 to 30 years old. These people are getting started in their careers. Some, they might not even have a career yet. Between the ages of 18 to 24, I know I was still trying to figure out who I was going to be. And then came life insurance, and I was like, you know what? This is a great opportunity for me to help others. Maybe not right now, but in the future, I know that whatever I sell to them, they're going to remember me and say, thank God I saw Mariana and she sold me this. Now there's like a big load off my back. So those are about, 18 to 24, still trying to figure it out. And there between 24 to 30, most people already have their first child. They're newlyweds. They're starting off in their lives. So they have a lot of uncertainty where they don't really know what's going to happen to them. They're a little bit older, but they're still very young. They're trying to figure out their lives. Some of them might even buy their first home. I know I did. And so what does this group of people need? What are their requirements? What bait are we going to use? What am I going to be a specialist in? These are the things that most people from this age group are going to need. They're going to have spending abilities. Some of them are starting off in their jobs, so maybe their budgets are not as big as somebody who's already established. So you, as an agent, you're going to become an expert in term insurance, critical illness protections, and disability protections. Most policies now have term with living benefits. Depending on your carrier, some carriers do not offer this living benefits as is. They will add it on as a rider. So get familiar with your carrier and see if living benefits on a term policy is available. And if it is, that's wonderful. Why? Because term is just, like it is, a temporary policy that you that them as a client will choose between 10, 20, 30 years, and it will cover them for a specific time. This is usually what this age group picks just because, their kids are young and they want to protect them just in case something happens. With living benefits, now they have more of an option than just that. They have critical illness or disability protection. This allows them, in case of a heart attack, they get diagnosed with cancer or terminal illness. Now they have the option to get income in and protect that for themselves and as well as for their family. They're starting out family. So that's down. We're going to go to the next group, and this is the establishing market. These people are already established. They have their family, their kids are a little bit older, they have been living in their home for a while now, and you're looking about the ages of 30 to 50 years old. They are starting to think a little bit more about retirement. Unfortunately, most of us are planning on relying on Social Security. By the time I'm 65, there's probably going to be no Social Security. So these people are starting to invest in a retirement plan. Maybe they're doing more of, what am I going to provide with my family just in case something happens to me. They're already very experienced in their careers. They have a very secure job. Their kids are teenagers going into college, and they have older parents to think about. Now their parents, are going to start relying on them. So what are we going to become experts in? Their needs are spending ability seeking. So they're going to start looking for permanent plans, estate plans, and long-term care. So if you think that this is a better group for you, then this is what you have to become an expert in. So again, check your carriers, see what kind of programs they offer, become an expert in it. I know that most parents are going to say, well, if something happens to me, are my kids and my family going to be safe in this home? Especially if they are, the provider, the main provider in their home. They need to make sure that my family is going to be taken care of, living or dying. With permanent plans, you can do IUL programs. IULs offer a cash value return for the money. Let's look at it this way. For most homes, like my house, I still owe about $200,000. The first couple of years to my house, I know that most of it goes towards the interest rate. If I were to add $100 extra to my principal, it's only going to deduct it every single month. But instead, I could put it in an estate plan where those $100 are going to create a cash value. So if anything were to happen to me, I have the death benefit, as well as if nothing happens, I can take out that money and put it towards my house payment. So we have to start being able to identify, what my carriers offer, if they offer certain things. If not, then you have to start looking for other carriers if you're not a captive agent. And then also you're going to start thinking about their long-term care as well as their parents. So this is what you have to be an expert in if you're looking about, establishing a market in already an established group. If we go to the next one, these are the pre-retirement market. These people are, they already lived most of their life and they're ready to retire. Some of them already have policies and they just need to be reviewed, make sure that if anything were to happen to them, their policies will cover their needs. They're also, making sure that the beneficiary is going to the right person. I know that one time this guy had his ex-wife and he got married, never changed his policy, and now his ex-wife as the beneficiary got all the money, and his new wife is like, okay, what about me? So, this is a good time where you start to review their policies if they have one. If not, then you're going to go into, a term policy with living benefits as well as state plans, making sure that they're well taken care of. This specific group of people, you also want to start looking at either already retired. I guess now it's a trend where people want to retire early, but do they have the money for it? Also, if they have a 401k, you want to switch that over to an annuity or even to an IUL program where they won't get taxed if they decide to retire or take out money earlier without a penalty fee. If we go to the next market, we're looking at post-retirement. So this is 65 and up. Studies have shown that anybody who's over 65, their main worries are outliving their money, them getting sick, or they just die too soon. With science and medical advanced technology, people are now projected to live up to 120 years. So, what happens if you run out of money? What are you going to do? So this is where you start looking at, policies that build up cash values. Illnesses, they don't want to become a burden to their family. So this is a great opportunity for you to sum term life with living benefits that they're going to be able to use in case they have critical illness. I know that my mom had cancer, and her biggest worry was, I don't want to become a burden to my family. Unfortunately, we didn't have life insurance back then, but if we did, she would have gotten a good paycheck to replace her income and what we needed at that time, or dying too soon. Again, their main worry is to become a burden to their family or to just outlive their money. So you as an agent, you're going to become an expert in policy reviews again, estate plan, and long-term care. Now, when we have these 4 groups, we need to decide now, what motivates each group? What motivates your specific group, your specific client? So when you do an analysis of needs, you're going to see, do they care mostly about their income protection, or their mortgage protection, or their college planning, or retirement? Each person has a specific need. So this is when you go into a needs analysis. You start asking in-depth questions. You want to get them thinking. Some people don't think about life insurance until life happens. With everything going on right now in the world, coronavirus, protesting, riots, what is going to happen to our income? What's going to happen in case I get sick? So people are starting to take this moment now as a motivation factor to get security for them and their future, and as well as their families and loved ones. So in going into income protection, we want to protect death, medical bills, and critical illness. So they're going to be seeking a term. They want to make sure that my income and the people that rely on my income are going to be taken care of. So you're going to look at term. That's the bait you're going to use, and that's what you're going to be a specialist in. If you go into mortgage protection, you're going to protect them with term as well, just in case something happens to them. Their family, their home is going to be taken care of. And if they want to pay off their home a little bit faster, you're going to go into a permanent life protection. That's more, IULs, creating that cash value as well as death benefits. If let's say they're contributing those $100, by the year 15, let's say they're looking about $18,000 to $20,000 in cash value. They can surrender that and use it towards their mortgage acceleration, or if something were to happen, they still have that face amount that can cover their home. For college planning, a lot of this is going to go into the age group of 18 to 30 that have a newborn, that have little kids. Sometimes you're like, okay, well, I want my child to go to college. What are you doing for it? Are you starting to save up? Do you have a savings account, or are you just relying that your kid is going to have a 4.0 and get a free ride in college? Or let's just say they don't even want to go to college. They want to start a business. What do you have prepared for their kids? So this is where you're going to go into an IUL. Remember, creating that cash value. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Gerber Life, where they created that $1 million baby. With IUL, starting them off at a young age, you create that $1 million baby. If they don't surrender, cash value throughout their lives, but if you do, and you're still paying it off, they're still making more money on interest rates from an IUL. If you go into retirement programs, the options that most people are doing now is 401k if the company that they're with provides it. Most companies nowadays don't really do that anymore. What most people are looking for are tax-free retirements. There's this thing where you say, do you want to pay taxes on the seeds, or do you want to pay taxes on the plants that grew? Obviously, with inflation and tax rates going up, having a tax-free retirement and paying taxes now will be a lot better than paying taxes eventually, especially with everything that went on with coronavirus. Our taxes will go shooting up in the sky. Because from those stimulus checks, they're not free. We have to pay for them back. So one way or another, our taxes are going to go up. So starting a tax-free retirement, it secures you from overpaying a bunch of taxes in the future when you're ready to retire. Now, what motives do these people have to buy a life insurance policy? We want to focus on telling them what this does versus what this is. When you go into buying a product, you want to see the product. You're like, I know that I'm buying this remote, and this remote is going to change my TV channel. What is this that I'm holding? Unfortunately, with life insurance, it's not something that they can hold. You have to become an expert in a specific policy, in a specific group, with a specific person, so that they can trust you. You say, you know what, I don't see it, but I know what this does for me and my family. So instead of just saying, okay, well, this is what I have for you, let me know if it works. Instead of doing that, you want to get to know the person. You want to get to in-depth questions and say, this is what this does for you instead of what this is. And I think as an agent, when we start thinking about what I can do for the other person instead of what can they buy from me, it's going to change your mindset, and it's going to create a passion in you that you're going to say, you know what, maybe I should stop thinking about myself and start thinking about others. When you start putting others in front of you, and like before you, and say, at the end of the day, I might not help them right now, but this is an investment that they're going to see in the future. So maybe don't use, life insurance. Maybe say, how much are you willing to put into this program that benefits you and what it does. So that's how we want to make sure that you become an expert in your field, because you do not want to start confusing your groups. When you become a general teacher, like in 5th grade, 4th grade, you have one teacher that knows a little bit about everything. And then you go into college and you're like, you know what, I want to become a doctor. A general doctor knows a little bit about everything. But then you say, you know what, I want to become a specialist. I want to become a brain surgeon. So now your main focus is to help those that need brain surgery. And you know everything. And people trust you because you are a specialist in that specific area. So when I tell you guys, narrow it down, it's not because I'm not saying you can't be great at everything. You probably can. But when you become a specialist, now people are looking at you like, okay, you know what? This person knows what they're talking about. I'm not going to confuse my clients with saying, well, you know what, you can get this, or you have the option to get this, or you have the option to get that. When you tell them what they need, they're more willing to trust you and buy right away than for you to give them a bunch of different options. That's just going to confuse them. And I think that with life insurance, we have to change our mindset of, I can sell to everyone, and 2, I can sell to specific people. And so, building a market plan, choose a target. From those 4 groups, who do you relate to the most? I know I personally relate to the 18 to 30 groups. I know what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. I know what I can offer them. I know what carriers, what my carriers can offer them. And I know that since I'm more relatable to them, they're willing to trust me more. So pick your group and start building on, all right, I want this specific market group, I want this specific gender, occupation, and then family. That way, you know who to target the most. The more narrow you go to, the more specific things you can talk to them about. And you can also find what motivates them. Everyone has different motivations. Right now, my motivation is retirement. I know it shows that I'm well set for the rest of my life. So that's something that I need to focus on. If I want to set IULs, I need to become an expert in IULs. I need to become an expert on what it does for the customer. If it's something that suits them better than a term policy. And that's what we want our agents. And if you're already an agent and you just want to, you notice that life insurance hasn't been doing too well for me and I just need a new start, go back and see what you were doing before. Were you just trying to talk to everybody, or were you just trying to talk to a specific group of people? The more narrow you have it, the better you're going to become. And remember, quantity is not the best. Quality would be the best for you. So that would be all for today. If you guys have any topics or questions, things like that, feel free to contact me at Mariana Financial Group, and then that's my phone number. If you guys want me to develop a training plan for a specific thing, maybe some of you guys are new and you just need training on how to fill out an application, or you want to develop a needs analysis, things like that, or a specific product, just let me know, and I'm willing to help you all. Like I said, we like to stay in touch with all of our agents and clients, so feel free to contact me, and I hope this was helpful to you, as it was to me in the beginning. I know that I've been doing this for 3 years now, and this helped me not get overwhelmed and specialize in one group that I know that I can close the best. So start thinking about what you're comfortable with, who do you want to talk to on a regular day basis, because this is your job. And, stay motivated to helping others and finding their needs, and you will succeed in life insurance. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you guys next month.